Well, good afternoon, everybody, and what a fantastic day it's been. It's kind of like one of those crowbars to the brain that we all need constantly nowadays to keep our minds open about where we've got to keep looking. And it's also nice to share the stage with Thorn and Greg and Andy and Terry. Always fascinating to see what these businesses are up to. It's such an incredible location that we are today as well, discussing the future of our industry. Just walking around the British Museum, one can only imagine our people from these various cultures as well. We're trying to come to terms with the changes of the life in their times. And it makes you wonder what school children are going to be learning about our time and how we reached and reacted to these huge challenges that we see in our times today. Tell you one thing that I do know is that in 100 years from now, people will be looking back and thinking it was all so obvious what was coming at us. And it'll all be summarised by a sixth grader in one of their little one-page essays that they do, talking about everything that we're going through now. But it's exciting and it's a world of change. And we believe it's really important, though, in these world where things are changing so much, it's also very important to understand the things that don't change, the things that sort of ground us. And that's where we look at our business as well. We have to balance the two out constantly. People are social beings. We enjoy connecting with family and friends, but also brands and experiences. And the rules of economics still apply. Supply and demand, competitive advantages all play out. And we just need to start thinking about how all this new technology is actually going to enhance that. It's not about competing with it or pushing back against it. It's actually how do you use it to enhance these pieces. And at Westfield, we've always been a host, a marketplace where retailers, brands and customers come together. We're social environments where friends and families come out to enjoy a day of shopping, dining, entertaining. And we see the digital world in the same manner. But how do we do that? How do we connect all of our various customers? When we established Westfield Labs 4 years ago, we set out with the goal of answering that question. And the first step was actually to think about our properties and how we would actually replicate the concept of an open platform, where we could network all of our properties together and enable us to open up our assets to be able to work with our retailers, but also the best tech companies that were supporting our customers, all the types of technology that we've seen today. Now, we'll never be able to keep up with the pace of change. No one will be able to keep up with the pace of change by themselves. But if you create a real world open platform, we can create an ecosystem that's necessary to continuously evolve. And so what does that mean for our business and our industry? Well, retailers and brands have always worked together, whether it's malls or high streets, in sharing customers. Working together, retailers and restaurants have created some of the most vibrant areas of our cities. And so why is the digital arena any different? The more that businesses try to grip on to that proprietary IP, that intellectual property, the more these opportunities start to slip through their hands. At Google, it's just a prime example of a company that's so secure in its key strengths that it opens up its assets to the world, enables others to build and evolve on top of it. And we all know it's about the customer. Businesses that think that they can force the customer to do something always end up failing. Understanding that customer, connecting them to what they're looking for is key. And successful marketplaces do that. But there's a challenge. There are so many different customers today. And the world we live in changes so rapidly. And we're just seeing more and more and more of that as we go through. I actually did spend did a course at Singularity University. And I thought Jodie's talk was just fantastic. And I encourage people to look into it. It's actually one of those things that really does keep you interested in all the changes that are occurring. But what we see is where the physical and the digital worlds are really starting to converge. And it's not about online versus offline. Our shoppers don't actually differentiate themselves that way. They just call it shopping. And they go about it any which way. When a customer buys online and picks up in store, is that an online sale? Is it an offline sale? When the customer goes into a store and tries on a pair of shoes but wants a different size and they end up ordering it through a in-store kiosk, is that online? Is that offline? And imagine all the combinations that are going to be available when virtual reality and bots and augmented reality that we've all been talking about today all come into play as well. We believe the way forward for our business is to embrace our role as a matchmaker. So we created a platform that connects our retailers, brands and customers across all of our properties. And it's built in a way that the best new retail startups and services can plug in and come and service our customers in ever-evolving ways. So here's a video to show you how we're starting this long journey and what we're rolling out in phases actually right here in Westfield, London. All right, so as you saw in the video, the customer journey really touches multiple brands, retailers, and services every day. And we share that relationship and have a role to play in that journey, in that experience. And if any one of us lets down that customer, it's not good for any of us along that way. And today we've heard some really great insights about data. And I won't go on to that too much. I had much more here to talk about in relation to that, but we've covered so much on data today that it's just obvious about the benefits of how we can work together to better service the customer. And working on how we can best share that data and manage that with their trust will deliver real value and is going to be a challenge, but even a bigger opportunity in the coming years. The online world's an amazing place. Our access to choice and information has changed forever. But we're physical beings, at least for the foreseeable future, and we enjoy getting out. There's a reason why we're all here today versus sitting at home and watching on YouTube or watching it online. There's a reason why for decades we've been able to go out and, we've been able to stay at home. We've been able to order from our favourite restaurants and have that food delivered to our house. But we choose to go out. We choose to meet our friends out in restaurants and sit with total strangers, but in a fantastic environment and have a great experience. It's because we love to connect. And the key experiences and our industry are embracing this. Traditional bricks and mortar retailers, as well as traditional e-commerce retailers, are opening stores with greater and greater experiences. Apple is one of the most productive retailers on the planet today. And every single one of their products we know very well, and we can buy and click and experience online, but we don't. We go to the stores because they have such fantastic customer experience there. Amazon's just started opening up bookstores. They actually opened up their second bookstore with us in San Diego recently, and that's after they'd opened 5 kiosks in other ones of our properties as well. Google are doing holiday experiences with us. Warby Parker, which was discussed, Bonobos, the list goes on about e-commerce retailers that are wanting to embrace the physical world as well. And why? Because it's good business. Why? Because that's what the customer wants. They don't have to choose. They expect you to blend this online and offline world seamlessly together. They don't want to live all in one world or the other. They don't look at it that way at all. So suspend your sort of belief for a moment, just to give an example of this. Imagine if actually the internet came first. Imagine if everything was delivered to your house after it was clicked online, delivered to your house from a local warehouse. There were no malls, there were no high streets, there were no restaurant precincts. You did everything at home, your friends would come over, etc. And then someone created a beautiful high street like Marylebone, or a great street like Regent Street, or a great mall like Westfield London. People would be losing their minds. They'd be like, this is fantastic. This is a whole new world that's out there. Online shopping's over. But it's not. It's just that people love to get out and about, and it's the combination of the two. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not, like I said, it's not one versus the other. We don't believe that. The customer wants both. Every industry at the moment is going through that. And the companies that are able to tackle that connection and bring those two together have enormous opportunity. That's why things like augmented reality are so exciting, literally blending that physical and the digital together. And the topics that Jody spoke about how technology is exponentially and converging, are really, really exciting. And we see that magic come to life every day in Westfield, whether or not it's in London or in San Francisco or our new centre at Westfield World Trade Centre and soon to be Milan. In fact, even in the heart of Silicon Valley at the moment, we have a centre, Westfield Valley Fair. It literally sits just down the road from Apple's headquarters, just around the corner from Google's campus, just around the corner from Facebook's campus as well. It's trading at an all-time high. We're investing with our retail partners $1 billion into that asset because it's got more potential than what it is. It's bursting at the seams. It's just an incredible sort of paradox when you think about right in the heart of Silicon Valley for that to be the case. But that's because, again, we're social beings. But our customers are now, and as they should be, in control of that entire experience. They have their phones, and according to Deloitte, 80% of all physical sales are influenced digitally. So it's a balance. It's sort of an online-offline pendulum that's just started swinging, but it's going to find its equilibrium, and those who watch that pendulum and facilitate and anticipate its swing will benefit from the excitement that customers feel about change. And it also opens a whole new era of opportunity for startups, not looking necessarily at the B2C, but looking at the B to B to C. Helping great businesses with decades of close customer relationships, just like Westfield and our friends from John Lewis who were up on stage earlier as well, enhance our businesses and leverage our existing physical assets to serve the customer in the digital world. Today, 90% or so of retail is still conducted in physical stores. But in the coming years, I don't even think you'll be able to calculate that number because online and offline will simply merge seamlessly together, and the businesses that work together will actually have the best chance of success. What you saw in our video has us working with multiple companies, and at Westfield, we're looking at building an ecosystem for retail tech. It started with our investment at Westfield Labs 4 years ago, bringing on people from large and small tech companies to work together with our operating business executives to resolve these issues. And then we opened Bespoke, which you're seeing here, which is directly under Westfield Labs in San Francisco. It's a co-working event and demo space. And in here, there's over 70 retail tech startups, all working together to solve these issues with us and our retail partners. Those conference rooms you see off to the side there actually open up to the mall. The mall's got 200 shops, stores, restaurants, cinemas, etc. And they're able to test their products with those customers in the real world. And then on top of that, we've actually just finished our first round of accelerator program, which we've done with RGA, but also with partners like Macy's. We had 300 startups actually apply to it. The first 10 have just finished the first program that have come through. And it's working together with these startups. It's working together with the small and the large tech companies that we're able to solve these problems together. But we have to, as a physical business, have our property as an open platform, a physical open platform. So we see these as exciting times filled with change and opportunity. Our relationship with our retailers and service providers needs to be more close and more continuous than ever before. Gone are the days of opening a store and then everyone sort of getting on with their businesses. We need to work continuously together, create a really frictionless customer experience. And I'm sure that all working together, retailers, mall operators, owners of retail space, tech companies, startups, etc., we're going to be able to build this future together. So thank you very much.